So I think that it's safe to say that Tranzit is arguably one of the worst Treyarch Zombies maps, and people absolutely despise playing it, and it's really unfortunate because Tranzit had the potential to really be a phenomenal map. It just wasn't executed properly. I think a lot of people are hopping on the bandwagon to hate this map, when in reality it really isn't the worst map that Treyarch has actually made. Now, although people claim to hate playing this map, personally I don't. I actually really like playing Tranzit. I think it's a pretty fun map, especially when you're playing with friends. There's a lot of really cool features that make this a really good map, but at the same time, there's a lot of features about this map that make it really bad. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at those bad features, but more specifically, I'm going to be talking to you guys about what Treyarch and Jason Blundell have to say about Tranzit being a bad map. Now, the other week, Jason Blundell was interviewed by a couple of zombie YouTubers in the community over on a podcast that was nearly an hour and 45 minutes long. There was a ton of really interesting points raised in the podcast, and I'll have it linked in the description below. One of the many topics discussed was that of Tranzit. Of course, Treyarch and Jason Blundell's response to Tranzit being a bad map. Now, before we get started with these points, I think it's safe to say that there are three main reasons why people don't like Tranzit. Now, the three main reasons on top of a lot of other ones are the denizens, the fog, and the lava. These are features implemented into Tranzit that people really don't like, but there's a reason behind them. Now, the implementation of these features were not added in an attempt to make the map more difficult. Instead, the fog, lava, and denizens were incorporated into Tranzit in order to slow players down around the map so that the game had time to load, so that the game was able to load in the textures that Treyarch brought into Black Ops 2 Zombies Tranzit, and the game uses these features in order to better efficiently render the memory of each map, because at the time when Tranzit was created, Treyarch were trying to push the limits of the old generation consoles and the old generation systems. Now, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 had been out for years, and it appeared that they were somewhat coming to an end with the introduction of the upcoming next generation consoles, and because of this, Treyarch were trying to push the limits of these systems, and years later, with this interview, Blundell has said that Tranzit was too ambitious of a map for that generation of consoles. Now, Treyarch really wanted Tranzit to be a good map, and it's unfortunate because it looks like they actually put a lot of work into it, considering it appears to be a rather complex map, but when you play it, it just feels a little bit incomplete. It feels as if Treyarch has left something out of it, and as I said, I actually really enjoy playing Tranzit, and again, it appeared that Tranzit was just too ambitious for that time, too ambitious for that generation of console, just because they had to implement these features like the denizens, like the lava, like the fog, in order to slow players down from running to different areas of the map so that the game was able to have enough time to load in the memory and load in the textures for that particular area of the map. Now, it's pretty interesting and a little bit weird because if you think about it, Treyarch never really responded to the outlash and hatred that the community had for Tranzit. Treyarch just appeared to brush all of the hate for this map aside, and it wasn't until the other week where Treyarch has sort of spoken out, and Blundell was, I guess, speaking on behalf of Treyarch's opinion about Tranzit and their mindset towards this map. But it's important to note that Jason Blundell wasn't actually working on Zombies at the time. Blundell didn't work on Tranzit because at the time, Jimmy Zielinski was the zombie director over at Treyarch, and Blundell was working on aspects of the campaign and potentially elements of the multiplayer, but Blundell commented on the fact that when it came to zombies and implementing new elements and trying new things, Zielinski was extremely ambitious. In regard to Tranzit, Zielinski wanted to explore unexplored areas in the zombies mode, but it just appeared that at the time, Tranzit was too ambitious of a game mode. Now, it's also important to note that within Black Ops 2, we have our main zombies game mode. We have the survival game mode that is just endless rounds of zombies spawning, and you need to survive for as long as you can, potentially complete some Easter eggs, but also we have these other game modes like Turned, like Grief. Turned was implemented into Black Ops 2 Zombies with the first DLC, the Die Rise DLC. We had another game mode, and it's also important to note that there were other lost lost game modes that were originally going to be added into Black Ops 2, but were scrapped before the official release of this game. Now, at the time of Black Ops 2's development, the Treyarch Zombies team were working on these different game modes. They were trying to incorporate elements and aspects into zombies that were so innovative and so creative that I guess all of their time and effort spent on these innovative game modes, might I add, not all of them were added into Black Ops 2 Zombies, but all of their time and effort spent into exploring these essentially unexplored areas of zombies, it sort of took away from addressing the map at hand and fixing the map at hand, which was Tranzit. So because of Tranzit's quest to be innovative and creative and be ambitious and push the limits of zombies, it sort of took away from focusing on Tranzit. So Tranzit never fully reached its actual capacity to be a really good map. Now, it's obviously a very playable map. You can play it, you could do the Easter egg, you can do these things, but if you go into theater mode, sometimes you have that issue of texture files rendering into the map just because it's such a big map and it was pushing the limits of those previous generation consoles. And while I was playing it, getting this gameplay earlier, it just appeared that the rough edges to Tranzit weren't really smoothed out. There were a couple of things that just didn't feel right, but I'm super excited to see what Treyarch has in store for the future. Honestly, I really want Tranzit to be remastered. I really want Treyarch to remaster this map now that they actually have the ability to allow Tranzit to reach its full potential, to allow Tranzit to be all that it could be, all that it was intended to be. I think it would be a really cool map, and although it wouldn't be the most popular just because people already have a sour taste in their mouths from Tranzit's Black Ops 2 version, I don't think it would be the worst map. Remastered, I think Tranzit would be a lot of fun. As I said earlier, I already really enjoy playing it, especially when I'm doing it with friends, and I think that if Treyarch were to remaster Tranzit, it would be a really good map. So guys, let me know your thoughts about that point in the comment section below. Do you guys think that after seeing all that Treyarch has been capable of with Black Ops 3 and those maps, do you guys think that if they were to remaster Tranzit, it would be a good map? Do you guys think that Treyarch has the capability to allow Tranzit to reach its full capacity? Personally, I think so. I think it would be a really awesome map. Also, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of Treyarch or Jason Blundell's points in response to Tranzit being a bad map. Obviously, we have this information nearly 4.5 years later, and as I said earlier, it's a little bit weird that Treyarch never truly responded to the hate that is Tranzit. But regardless, do you guys think that the point, or I don't want to say excuse, but the excuse that being overly ambitious and trying to explore unexplored areas in the zombies game mode is, I guess, a valid point as to why Tranzit was not a good map, why Tranzit's full capacity wasn't reached. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to drop a like down below, subscribe if you're new. I've got a ton of really awesome videos coming out in the near future. You don't want to miss them. But with all of that being said, I'll be sure to catch you guys later.